Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are live here on YouTube. Let's just make sure. I think I see something coming up over there. Yep, we are good to go. Troy is back. Troy's got a new name tag under himself. Troy, good to see you, buddy. How we doing?
Could have been better, but also could have been a lot worse late there.
Indeed. Jeffy's back with us. Returns from the preview pod to join us for day 2 reactions. Jeff, glad to have you. How are you?
I'm well rested, thanks to how terrible the NBC coverage is. I could be better if Florida could stop the run.
Oh, they stink. And you got Graham Mertz at quarterback. I'm just going to start this off. You see I'm sporting the USA hat. I'm sticking with them. But out of solidarity, I'm going hats off today. We've got terrible hat hair. But no hat for us today in solidarity with fucking Pat Cantlay, who just absolutely grabs his fucking nutsack on the last 3 holes. Birdie, birdie, birdie. Wyndham Clark really not helping him too much on those 3 holes. We got to start there. Jeffy, why don't you lead us off? What just your thoughts on that final stretch here?
Yeah, I mean, it was much needed. Especially as it pertains to retaining the cup. It's still a lofty expectation that the USA can get it all the way to 14.5. But I think that extra half point and borderline full point of getting back into the match to have a chance to tie it and then a chance to win it on the last, I think does give us some hope and also gives our friend of the pod, Matt, a hope at the tie. Which is now back in play for the potential back-to-back Solheim Cup, Ryder Cup ties. But obviously big putts, especially the one on 18. We won't talk about how not great the second shots were into 18, but big putts by Cantlay down the stretch.
Troy, while I'm getting this thing tweeted out, hit us up. What do you got?
All right, and I know we wanted to touch on the coverage, but do you guys have it on TV? Like, I know, like right now my golf channel is saying playing lessons with Rory McIlroy. Like, can't we have some post coverage going on?
Is there no? Oh, my NBC right now is
showing a rerun.
Yeah, it's not on Golf Channel.
No, it's saying playing lessons with Rory McIlroy.
We'll put it on. It's got to actually like be going over that because that went really late.
Okay.
It did run past the time that they were projected because there was something that came up about the Harlem Globetrotters was not going to be on television today.
Does that have anything to do with the final group?
Playing in fucking 8 hours?
Does it surprise you, though, that the hatless hero in the final group is also the one that takes forever?
I think they were actually waiting on the group ahead of them.
I think they did say that at one point.
I mean, which also isn't surprising considering fucking Spieth and Justin Thomas stink.
A lot of searching for golf balls in that group.
Holy fuck. Troy, you were going with your thoughts there?
Oh, I mean, it was just, it turned from a very big, actually, it was looking somewhat positive when I got up this morning around 5-ish. I think I started watching at 5. I woke up in the middle of the night at like 2 and 4, and then I finally got up at 5, and it was seeming like rather somewhat positive, and then turned to shit, and then it was looking much more positive, turned to shit again. And then, yeah, here we are. We can at least turn it on tomorrow with some intrigue and then probably quit around 10 o'clock and get ready for football.
Yeah, since you started on the coverage, you want to go there, Jeff? I know this was your big one. You were just, the last 2 days, you have been pissed.
Yeah, so, we talked in the preview pod the other day about the potential of us getting up to watch this coverage, and as I laid in bed on Thursday night, did not wake up Friday morning until about 8 o'clock in the morning and had some texts saying, well, it looks like Jeff decided he's not going to watch the coverage. And I went to bed Thursday night trying to figure out whether my body should wake up to watch. the golf coverage or not. And it wasn't the players, it wasn't the course that turned me away from doing so. It was the coverage, and it was the lack of trust that I had in NBC to actually show golf shots if I chose to wake up. And I woke up to a lot of people complaining about the coverage. And then I saw the complaints about the coverage, and it's atrocious. Something needs to be done. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a title sponsor. I don't know if it's a Saudi investment. I don't know if it's just new people in the trucks who are running it. It is atrocious. And I could go one by one through a bunch of different things, but Troy has mentioned the coverage as well. It is really hard to believe that people in charge of televising a golf event that has at most 16 people on the course, and sometimes those 16 people are only responsible for 8 golf balls, that we could possibly miss golf shots. It's unfathomable to me. And then the fact that we missed the golf shots, they can't even fake that we've missed the golf shots and be like, well, this just happened a minute ago. Like, he might use the back slope. Well, you know he's using the back slope because you actually got to see it and we didn't. So at least pretend to us that we're watching it live. But I'll let you guys go and I'll throw in more complaints as things come up because it's a disaster.
I do have a programming alert from the Golf Channel. Live From is exclusively streaming on Peacock.
Throw the game.
So those of us that pay for the Golf Channel get playing lessons with Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, the Golf Channel, that's like not on the regular package. It's not on like the one package up. Like, you got to go fucking 2 packages up. You got to go from spending like fucking $60 a month to like $95 to get the fucking Golf Channel.
But think about what a deal it is, because you don't have to pay for golf lessons because Rory McIlroy is going to give them to you.
What a fucking joke. Yeah.
I know, Wally, you and I were texting that, like, how frustrated we were when the first 2 matches were up, 4 and
That's
they're up
right where I
4
was
and up
going.
3 or something. And then the other 2 are up. I think they were
like
even and 1 up or something like that. And Azinger kept saying, like, these last 2 points are so crucial, but yet, like, we had no fucking idea where these people were on the golf course.
I had to walk the dog real quick. I walked the dog at like 7:15. I get back at like 8. So this is 8 and 9 in the East Coast. When I get back at 9 o'clock Eastern, I saw a tweet like an hour and a half later that it had been 90 minutes since Justin Thomas or Jordan Spieth were on TV. Like, those 2 matches were like what it was going to come down to, and I had no fucking clue what was happening. Like, and I know you got to show the ones closer to the end a little bit more, but like, can we fucking mix it in? I saw somebody else be like, yeah, they always do this, and then you have like no context on like how anybody's playing in that match.
So
like, you don't know who's been hitting it good, who's been hitting it bad. Like, did so-and-so just miss a 4-footer on the last hole? You just don't, what? It's 1 up.
Yeah, but you had that little box in the bottom right corner to be able to figure out what the matches were doing. There was no context for what the 7 and the 8 meant at any point in it, or the 13 or the 12 or anything. But the box was nice to have, although they would update the box before they'd show you the shots from those other matches.
And then go back and show you the shots.
And then go back and be like, this just happened live. That's great. It would have been cool to see it. But to NBC's credit, I guess at least when they're focusing on 2 matches, you get to see all the shots from those 2 matches. So I guess that's a step up potentially.
I mean, I don't understand what, like, this seems like the perfect opportunity to do some sort of like picture in picture, right? Like, it
a lot.
I just don't get it. It was like frustrating to watch. Like, I couldn't imagine
We're doing
like,
fucking 3 pictures on Ole Walls house live. They can't fucking 2.
We were watching it with a lot of intrigue, but could you imagine if it was actually like close, how frustrating that would have been? Like,
how are they going to do 12 matches tomorrow?
What if it starts getting tight tomorrow and there's like still like 8 matches on the course? They're not going to be able to fucking handle it. Do they even have enough cameras there? Like, maybe that's why we didn't see any of those fucking matches. They had to like loop the guys back with the cameras, probably. was
All right.
incredible.
One of my other complaints, and he's gotten on my nerves the last couple times, but Dan Hicks and Paul Azinger are just atrocious.
Paul Azinger was fucking
Paul
hallucinating.
Azinger just completely trying to diffuse the Cantlay thing over and over and over and over, where every other media outlet is reporting the same thing. He also said something yesterday at one point. They were talking about the 18th hole, which seems like something you don't really need to do a ton specifically. Like they had all week to talk to us about the golf course on Live from the Ryder Cup, which was on every hour of every day leading up to coverage. I actually saw people complain that we need to get this thing started because there is nothing more to talk about in regards to the Ryder Cup. But he referred to the 18th hole as a great closing hole in match play, and we just hope that we're going to get some matches there. And at that time, there was a group standing on the 18th tee box about to play said 18th hole, and there was a group playing the 17th hole in a match that had to get to the 18th hole. So two of the matches on the course are literally about to play this great hole you're talking about. And your comment is, well, we just have to get some of the matches to that point, is a bizarre thing to say to someone who's probably sitting right off the 18th green about to watch people play the 18th hole.
I will say, in fairness, I think only 4 matches have been to 18.
You know who I hope never plays that fucking hole again is Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, he needs to get that shit done before he gets there.
He knows how to hit from the right side of the green in 3.
Oh.
He's been in. Oh man,
He was playing really good for a stretch yesterday, and then just coming down 18th. And he's hit 2 incredible drives off the 18th tee. Like, he had like 240 in today. Fucking Rory absolutely launched his ball off 18. I almost wonder if he was looking that direction like on purpose, because he hit it and looked like he loved it off the tee. I mean,
sometimes the people that swing really hard don't try to hit it down the fairway. Just so you know, every once in a while we find a different line that we really fall in love with and a good angle. He might have found that angle on 18.
I do wonder, because he did not seem to give a shit that he was 30 yards left of the fairway. Yeah. What else did Azinger do? There was a lot of, in case you guys didn't know this, I think the Europeans think they have an advantage from 180 yards and out.
To 220, 180 to 220.
Did you hear that?
And they have neutralized the Americans' wedge play.
Yeah, I thought I heard that too. The wedge play was trying to get taken out of the hands.
Just a couple times.
Yep. The one, I forget who hit the tee shot, but the tee shot on 16 from someone today where the shot tracer may or may not have been correct, but the ball was supposedly going right at it and completely missed the green left.
JT?
Was an interesting one. Yeah, it might have been JT. Yeah. Yep.
I think it's cutting just a little, and then he's like, "Oh, it didn't cut enough, and it missed. It was fucking like almost left of the front bunker."
That's correct. Yeah, just very. And I guess what drives me bonkers is their inability to just show us shots without telling us that this happened already. Like, we're not there. We don't need to know that this just happened a minute ago. Like, most of us are already watching 40 seconds delayed, right? Like, what's the difference between 40 seconds delayed and 2.5 minutes delayed from when it happened? Like, if they could sync the showing of the shots with the little stupid scoreboard in the bottom right, none of us would care that you're showing us shots late. We're just appreciative that we're not watching a breakdown of the entire continent of Europe and where its players are from, and where that relates to how many historically they've ever had play from Norway and Sweden. And
while you mentioned the 16th hole, and I think we were talking Justin Thomas, do we want to go there on what the fuck happened on that tee box with Zach Johnson and whatever the fuck he said to Jordan Spieth? Because he said in his poster interviews, like, "Oh, I didn't tell him what to hit," but like, it was pretty obvious. Spieth was standing there with driver in his hand. Zach Johnson came from out of frame, walked in. There was like a conversation. Spieth looked very confused. He looks like he wants to kill himself out there. Not that I can blame him. And then he goes back and gets 3 wood that never had a fucking prayer. My buddy was texting me, and this was awesome. I texted him like, "I have to read this on the fucking pod." Let me find it here. There's Trevor. Here we go. right, here we go. Hold on. I'm getting there. In all caps, we need an eagle, you idiot. I mean, high cut driver is the only shot there. I'm going to scream. That was a water donation. Nothing else. That was the only outcome there. Is this a joke? All of those were different. That was 7 different text messages, by the way. Every like train of thought here. I text back, I'm shook. He comes back with more. I just don't even understand. I don't even know if Rory can carry that with 3-wood. Turns out he can.
He can.
Carried it very well. Then he switched over to Fitz. He goes, thanks, Fitz? Like, huh? He chipped that? That was when he had chipped it on 14 from like the back corner. And he goes, these people have lost their damn minds. Like, what am I watching right now? What is JT supposed to do? What the fuck? I said, I'm dumbfounded. He goes, I hate Zach Johnson. He can go to Team Europe. He has lost his citizenship. It is gone. Citizenship revoked. Was Birdie ever going to win that hole? Hell no. What a dumbass.
For what it's worth, I tweeted after that happened that we should also consider revoking his citizenship as well. So 2 people.
I don't know what the fuck could have happened on that tee box that made anybody think 3-wood was the right play. Like, if 3-wood was the play to lay up, what the fuck are you laying up for? Like, you're 3 down with 3 to go. You have to win. You have to knock it on the green or around the green and make it 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you just continue to say what I would say, and I'm gonna save all of my anger towards Zach Johnson for even having Jordan Spieth on the golf course as often as he has the last 2 days to be in that position. Although if you're gonna play him, you probably should play him in 4 balls. If you're gonna play him in 4 balls, he probably should be going at the green dormy.
Okay,
and
let's go
leave
there.
it at that.
Let's go there. Because so he goes off yesterday with JT. They completely collapse coming in. They're 2 up with 5 to play and tie the match, which was a disaster.
Only because of JT.
Only because of JT. He didn't
That's
finish.
correct.
He did not finish a hole after he made birdie on 13 or 14 and did not finish a hole again until he knocked it to a couple feet on 1 today. After that, I say to everybody, like, he might be done until Sunday, but for sure he's not going tomorrow morning in the foursomes. Like, you just save him and send him again on Saturday afternoon. Hope he figures it out. Hope he finds like a little something. And if not, he's out there. Someone's playing alone. He sends him out fucking first. And I know this is where you want to go with it, Jeff, because I know what you're thinking right now. Go ahead.
Well, I believe I said on the preview pod that I did not think that Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas would play together, especially in alternate shot format. I have been proven wrong, but I was proven wrong by an idiot, which makes me feel like I have been proven correct. Because it just makes no sense to me that you would take 2 people who are hitting the ball like the 2 of them are and tell them that they should try to scrap it together as a 1-ball team. If you're going to put Spieth out there, he's literally out there meant to be in 4-ball. And he's meant to throw darts at flags and use his short game when he's in dumb positions. But you're putting him out there because you hope he's going to make birdies. To stick him with Justin Thomas, and Justin Thomas has been one of the better American players thus far, the fact that they would not pair Justin Thomas with someone else.
Sorry, I got to cut you off. I'm just scanning up fucking Twitter to see if pairings are out by any chance. And there's a video of Rory like screaming and Shane Lowry like holding him back and Bones. He's like almost yelling at like Bones or somebody back behind Bones.
Joe LaCava on 18 probably.
No. This is after. Like Shane Lowry is like pushing him into a car. Go on the 4Play Twitter account right now and look at it when you get a chance. But yeah, he is like screaming at somebody and Shane Lowry was like grabbing him like, dude, we got to go. Like, you got to get out of here. He is fucking heated about the Joe LaCava thing. Finish your thought about
I'm seeing the video. He is not happy. Not a happy person. But I just don't. like when we had talked about the pairings, what confuses me is that we have not really used the pairings that we thought that we were going to get. Like all we heard was Brian Harmon's doing really, really good stuff and hitting it well. Like, and you're going to pair him with guys like Wyndham Clark and Brooks Koepka to help with his length. And like he and Homa were obviously very good today, but like we didn't see those pairings. Like Patrick Cantlay carried Wyndham Clark, and I don't even think they played a practice round together at any point.
They did not.
I'm a Ricky guy, but like benching Ricky altogether when the entire team was terrible yesterday makes no sense. Like I just don't understand that. There had to be someone who's a better fit to play with Justin Thomas in foursomes than Jordan Spieth.
It had
Not
been
from a
Ricky.
friend standpoint, but from an actual talent perspective.
Like that just screams Ricky, doesn't it? Though, or Xander. Like Xander played with. Xander played with Patrick Cantlay. That was stupid.
I mean, I would, yeah. Like I texted you guys yesterday in the chat. Like I thought Ricky and JT seemed like the pairing. You have one of the better drivers of the golf ball in Ricky. You have an emotional leader in JT. I actually
Who's
think
a good iron player.
Yeah, I actually think I texted that they should go out first. Like I think it's inexcusable that you put Jordan Spieth out first in that type of format. It makes no sense to me. And we kind of deserve what we got with that.
So at least they got it to 2-1. So I'm just I wasn't up at this point, but the fucking two behind them, holy shit.
Yeah, while we're talking.
Did you guys
about
look?
that,
Have you seen that scorecard?
they shot 7 over in 11 fucking holes. After Brooks was like taking cheap shots at John Rahm, like in his post game interview last night, which was so weird. And then it's not like I have no problem with sending those guys out because they played decent like in their 4-ball. So like I get it, like send them out together. It's the number 1 player in the world and a major winner who's supposed to be one of your dogs. And they just get run off the fucking course. Like what the it's not like they got run off the course. They escorted themselves off the course because they played so fucking bad.
But isn't that like, can't you kind of just like say that's foursomes?
I mean, it happens.
Like if it
happens.
gets screwy in foursomes, like there's no coming back, right? Like you're constantly putting from 9 to 20 feet for par because you're out of position on one shot every hole. I was also not up, only due to NBC being terrible at coverage. I would have considered being up for it. But I mean that's a group that to me at least made sense on paper, right? But all foursomes groups have to play well in order to have a chance, right? Like I'd rather live with that than live with what the eyeballs and the stats tell me in JT and Spieth should just not be a pairing. And I actually saw someone tweet today that the like buddy groups that the US puts together, right? Like Sam Burns was really good in the afternoon in 4-balls, but like the buddy group of Scheffler Burns is 0-1. The buddy group of Xander and Cantlay are 0-2. Although I think both of them have gotten brutal matches in terms of who they're
I got
against.
no problem with Xander Cantlay. Like that's worked forever.
And Spieth and JT, like I think 0-2-1.
Yeah, I mean, running Spieth and JT out in foursomes was a mistake.
Stupid. Wally, I texted you yesterday after we watched Spieth just like fucking go non-existent through the last like 6 holes. I was like, there is no way you can play this guy tomorrow.
He did.
They played him all right.
What else happened in the morning? I have to look back on it. That was a long time ago. These are long days.
I mean, Max and little Bry looked.
Max Homa, little B. Yeah, Rahm and Hatton kind of took one from Cantlay and Xander because Xander's been missing like 6-footers all weekend, So that was kind of that because they had a chance because they had pulled that one back to even, right? They had gone 1 up with 4 holes to play and couldn't hold on.
So one of the things that confuses me about the decisions that have been made by the United States captain, Zach Johnson, is that there are, in my opinion, as it pertains to the Ryder Cup, there are two things that are kind of like constant but variable in how they are. Like if you're making putts, like there's no guarantee that you're going to keep making them or keep missing them, right? Like having opportunities where those are the case to me seem like good things over the course of a tournament, right? Like we talk about who are the guys that you're going to pick to win a tournament. You want guys who are going to create as many opportunities that you can have as possible, right? And you want to put the people out there who are giving you those opportunities as often as possible because like iron players are going to stick and continue to be iron players. So like when I woke up yesterday to Ricky and Morikawa getting beat by Straka and Lowry, I think was the group that beat them. The thing I kept hearing was Ricky was missing putts inside of 10 feet. Like he missed like 4 putts inside of 10 feet, right? Well, that to me tells me one of two things. Like Ricky statistically is one of the better putters on tour. So that's probably not going to continue to happen. And Morikawa is one of the better iron players on tour. And if we have those putts and they matter, he must be hitting the ball pretty good, right? And neither of those dudes got run back out in foursomes this morning again, right? Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
like,
and it's not like they got smashed. I mean, I don't know what their score was.
And
2-1.
And while we're on the complaining about things, the PGA Tour app is brutal for following this because it only tells you who won. You have to go further.
You got to get the actual app. You can't use the fucking PGA Tour app.
Oh, there's a Ryder Cup app.
Majors and Ryder Cup, you have to get their app.
Dude, one thing I found this year though, so I went to obviously the tournament up at Oak Hill, and there's so many fucking people in one spot trying to use the service and stuff. Like I couldn't get anything to load there either. So like the people that are there too must be in the dark.
Yeah.
Unless you can see a scorecard or a scoreboard or something.
So
like when you're there, everything's so far fucking behind anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm looking yesterday, like just starting from the first matches of the morning. I think putting Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns out there to start the thing off for us is just ridiculous.
Well, especially now hearing like it was like coming out like Friday after the matches that like Sam Burns was on the fucking range like Thursday night, like trying to figure it out. And you're like, whoa, maybe not that.
Yeah, correct. Like you're looking at like Harmon and Homa, clearly like that team's been fine. So like they lose to Hovland and Aberg, and Hovland went crazy yesterday, right? Like
Who's
there
at
were
the
a
Indy
couple.
500.
Huh?
Who's at the Indy 500?
That's the backdrop here. That's a big Gettysburg event on Saturday afternoon. Fowler and Morikawa lost 2-1. Like 2-1, neither of them get run back out in this format. And McIlroy and Fleetwood beat Cantlay and Schauffele 2-1. Like then you come out this morning, Cantlay and Schauffele get Hatton and Rahm and lose 2-1, right? Like they got arguably the two hardest matches that you could get in those.
Yeah, like, and Ricky and Morikawa, they shot one over, like not great, but not offensive.
They won 4 holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Like
so like
making some birdies in there.
It just doesn't. I don't know. The decision making makes no sense to me, in regards to a lot of that. It just, I don't know.
Let's touch
I thought it was weird to ditch Cantlay. Like McIlroy and Fitzpatrick housed Schauffele and Morikawa yesterday. Like I thought that was weird. Like
Cantlay was playing way better than Schauffele at the end of that match. Like Schauffele was the reason they did not win that match. Like he missed some 6-footers. Like after Cantlay hit good shots in there.
Yeah. So I just think that's very, very weird to me.
Let's talk a couple more about the some of the earlier matches today. So obviously the first match out, Sam Burns and Colin Morikawa come out firing, get up 6-up, let fucking Victor and Ludwig hang around. Victor Hovland wasn't at his best early, but like that dude has been playing some fucking golf this weekend. And I think like that was a big like thing for like those guys to get out early and like get some like red up on the board. Speaking of which, why do we never wear red? Like, it's our thing on the scoreboard and we never wear it.
Also, both teams today were wearing fucking white.
Yeah. Can we coordinate? But
While
Sam
we're on the
Burns,
topic of clothes, have you heard how much the European polos are if you'd like to buy one as a fan?
I'd assume about $1.25.
Times 5.
Like one of the actual polos?
$600. Not to wear the polo that John Rahm actually wore off his back, but to buy the luxury brand that they have. It's like a luxury Italian clothing brand, and they are $600 a piece.
What? I'm looking at a Ryder Cup Europe. That's a FootJoy. Wait, hang on. Here we go. I found a GQ article about it.
It could even be 600 euros, which is probably more than $600.
Okay, according to whatever. Oh, fucking Christ. Now we got one of these websites that bounces on you. According to WWD, whatever that is, the gear ranges from $520 to $3,400. And apparently it's worth every penny, they said. The Europeans demolished America. Fuck off. I mean, they aren't that great. I mean, I saw fucking John Rahm's fat ass sweating through it all day yesterday.
The hats were not great. You could see the little white line of the sweat marks, the sweat mountains building on his hat yesterday.
Dude, they looked like the hats that they put the kids in at the Little League World Series with like the little piping around them.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of. I was like, those are just brutal.
Where was I? Oh, early matches. Sam Burns. Good bounce back for him after a shitty day. And I absolutely fucking love any American who's got the fucking nuts on him to start screaming at the crowd today when you're getting your ass kicked. Like, fire it the fuck up. Where was this yesterday? Like, do you have to be at home to like have a little fucking fire in your belly and like get excited? And then fucking Max Homa. Brian Harmon, every time I saw him was on the side of a hill in fucking rough up to his fucking knees, like just hacking it out. And Max Homa is out there fucking screaming at people in the crowd, making every putt, just carrying those guys on his back.
Max Home would be 3-0 if Wyndham could play the 18th.
Him and Harmon
Which is
lost.
crazy considering we have, 5.5?
5.5 points, yeah.
Can we talk about the score, though, for one quick second? Because as much as we are down big, right, and we are in trouble going to tomorrow, and we talked about that before, it doesn't feel like the play has actually been as, at least to me, big of a difference as the score is. Like, Europe has made a number of putts, Justin Rose being one of the guys who's done it. Like, there were 2 putts that were made on the 18th hole yesterday from 25 feet for the Euros that literally saved them a full point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that if those 2 flip, now you're looking at 10.5, 6.5, or whatever it would be.
9.5, 6.5.
9.5, 6.5. Like, that's game on. Because the U.S. should be better at singles tomorrow. Like, their roster's deeper, it's more talented, it's got more experience. Doesn't mean it'll matter, but they should be better at singles than they are at the other formats.
How do we dump the
9.5, 6.5, we're right in it. And we're literally only talking about 2 putts, right? Like, how many other putts just happened to go the Euros' way?
I mean, John Rahm chipped in 3 times on Friday. And then hold that eagle putt and almost made a 1.
And if he didn't hit the back of the cup on that, it's 10 feet by minimum.
Yeah. Now, so what do we need? 8.5 to retain? So you got to win 8 matches and have 1. So they can only get 3.5 points. I mean, I guess you don't have to win 8. You can get to 8.5 with some halves, but I mean,
you got to win like 6 or 7.
You got to win
but you
7
can't lose many of those others.
No.
I mean, the Friday 4 balls were just completely squandered.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, yeah, if it's 5-3 going into Saturday morning, like it comes out feeling better.
Yeah.
So what do you do tomorrow if you're Zach Johnson? if you're Zach Johnson, not what do we think Zach Johnson's going to do. But
Zach Johnson's going to have Homa at the back of the lineup, probably. I mean, it's got to be Homa first, right? Homa and Cantlay? Like some variation of those two, like in the 1, 2, or 3. Like, does JT try and politic and be like, I'm fucking going? I don't want to say politic because that's not right, but you got to imagine JT's probably still up there.
I mean, you have to just off the bat, like, I guess the good thing, like I joked with, I forget what chat I put in before, like Spieth should go off last tomorrow. Part of the reason I believe Spieth should go off last tomorrow is because if his match matters, like the dude's still like been in big moments before, right? Like I don't think the U.S. can just completely throw like Sam Burns last or Brian Harman
Sam Burns
last.
has got to go early.
Like I think you've
Brian
got
Harman's got to go early.
Yeah, and JT and Homa, like the way they're playing, have to go early. And I think in the middle, you just got to hope that like you get a couple good matches, like Brooks gets a good match, like against somebody who he's able to get up on.
I mean,
like,
everybody has to win. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
So both teams just make a roster, right? Send it in.
Yeah.
And those are the matchups.
Yep.
See, I think it'd be cool if it was like a draft style, right?
That's what they do in the President's Cup.
President's Cup's that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes for like more intrigue. Like, I would want to watch that.
It's not as interesting as if you think about it. You watch it and you're like, okay. Like,
I don't think the teams really change very often from what they were going to put out there anyway.
no.
Like at the end of the day, we are still talking about professionals that, like, yeah, the numbers are going to say there's going to be some minus 200 favorites out there tomorrow, but they're still professionals who are all capable of shooting anywhere from 63 to 75 on any given day, right? Like,
That's a funny one. I don't know if either of you guys fly much, but Smiley Kaufman tweeted. I was looking for pairings again. Smiley Kaufman quote tweeted the video and said, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I'm pretty sure Rory is yelling at Delta executives about the new medallion program. And I 100% agree. It's bullshit. Yeah, I think it's, man, where do you put Scheffler? Because Scheffler had been playing pretty good, but like today, like the dude was rattled. Like he was like crying in the cart afterwards.
I think he should go like 9th, 10th.
Yeah.
I mean, based on not playing Ricky today, I would envision like Ricky's going to be like 11th.
I was going to say middle
like,
back.
Just purely based on that. I don't really know why.
What do we think that was?
So can the coach and me say something about that? I think it's a really bad look on our end to not say anything about that until we're losing. I think if you're battling things in something like the Ryder Cup where not everyone has to play, right? Like there are guys in each session who don't play. And it has happened many times before where someone doesn't play the entire day. If you have people who are sick and who can't play, don't play them or tell us they're sick before it happens. Like it is so whiny to come out after we get killed the way we did and be like, we're battling some stuff. There's some speculation about this and that. Then Ricky doesn't play today and there's more speculation, but he's out there high-fiving people and doing
what he came out and were like, no, he wasn't sick.
Right. So like it makes no sense to me that Zach Johnson just can't be straight with us about what is going on. It makes it actually adds to more of the issue of him being the captain.
Yeah, he hasn't been great. What else? What do we think about Hatgate? Do we think there's anything to that? Like, and by the way, I'm going on record. If these guys want to get fucking paid for this, like, I get it.
So
like,
have you seen what Brandel Chambly tweeted about how they do kind of get paid from this?
Yeah, they get a stipend for clothes. I saw.
Well, they get all the clothes paid for.
No, but a stipend for like the formal clothes, like that they wear at the gala too.
Oh,
like, they
I
get money to buy those.
Yeah, but have you seen all the PGA Tour related stuff?
Some money goes to their pension too.
20% of revenue goes to the pension.
Holy
They
shit!
all
Is it
get
20%.
20% goes to the pension.
Okay.
They get a charity of their choice.
Yeah, I saw. I always knew that the
Gets money
$200,000 charity
from
in
them.
the PGA.
Yeah.
So that's a write-off. That saves you some bucks.
Yeah. So I don't. Personally, I have no issue with him not wearing the hat. That doesn't bother
not
me
wearing the hat. Like he didn't
whatsoever.
wear the hat back in Whistling Straits, and this kind of stems back to the Joe LaCava thing too. Like the fucking Euros get to fucking jump up and down and fucking lose their mind after every putt and fucking go after it. Like do it. But fucking Joe LaCava's waving his hat around and now they've got they're fucking losing their mind.
Well, the one whose ever putt it was yesterday on 18 and you're watching and then all of a sudden you see Lowry's fat ass kind of come flying into the screen. It's like, where the fuck did he come from? And he's jumping up and down. I don't know what it is. What it is?
Yeah, it's the fucking Ryder Cup, but it's every year with this. It's oh, the goddamn Americans, those fucking Americans, how disrespectful! It's you guys do the same thing. Ian Poulter was out there losing his mind for 12 straight years in this fucking thing, slamming his putter on the ground, his eyes coming out of his head, screaming at the camera. Rory's always jumping around, screaming, "Let's fucking go!" But Joe LaCava waves his fucking hat around after the entire European crowd was waving their hat around at Patrick Cantlay. And now, we're evil? Fuck off. Fucking pussy Euros. You're winning by 6 points. It's going to be a goddamn rout tomorrow.
Yeah, we just live in a world of hypocrites across all sports.
I just don't care. So you know how you stop them from fucking celebrating? Just fucking make the next putt.
Uh-huh.
You had 2 putts inside him. And so Joe LaCava waves his hat next to you. So take 2 steps backwards, wait, he'll be done, and then you putt. There. I solved all your fucking problems, Europe.
All right, so we need what, 7.5 tomorrow?
8.5.
Sorry, 8.5. 8.5.
To tie. I think if we tie, we fucking run out of Europe screaming win though.
So who gets the 8 wins?
I mean, if you look at it and you hope, you think Cantlay, Homa,
Brooks,
yeah, Scheffler,
JT. You pray to God Spieth gets Højgaard or Bobby Mack or Straka, just somebody who isn't gonna be
he can get
menace.
a half.
Yeah, I
Xander,
don't want to see Spieth with Rory or Hovland or Rahm. That seems like death for us.
Xander's got to get a point. Morikawa, there's 7. Those 7 have to get points. Then your Ricky, your Wyndham Clark, Brian Harmon, Spieth, and who am I missing? Did I say Burns? And Burns, you got to get 3.5 out of 2.5, 1.5 out of those guys.
So flipping it, knowing that if you're Europe, you only need 3.5 points. That's correct, right?
Yep.
3.5 does it.
No,
how would you?
They need 4.
3.5 is a tie.
Yeah, and they need 4. They need to.
So
win.
they need 4. How would you structure the lineup, knowing that there are some dudes that Europe's had that when they've been on their own have looked lost at different times in this thing, and knowing that you have the 3 best players in the event right now,
Honestly,
Rahm, Rory, and Hovland have been the 3 best players.
I think there's 2 ways you look at it. Do you just send them out first? And you're we'll just go 50-50. 50-50.
You got to send one of them first, right? Because the Americans are going to send Homa or JT out first, I would imagine, right? So, you can guarantee that sending one of those 3 out, they're getting one of what the Americans think is their best shot, right?
I mean, that or you just send them 1, 2, 3. You send Hovland, Rahm, Rory right out of the gate. And you're come get it. Like, you want to set the tone
Stick
on
like
us?
Rose at the end and Lowry at the end.
Like, if you want
Fleetwood
to try
at
and
the
set
end.
the tone on us, you're going to set it against our fucking dogs. And we're going to take our chances that we steal one or two. And then, I mean, you got to make up so many points. I mean, I guess the other option is, do you try and be tricky and just shove them like all from like 6, like shove your 3 dudes from like 6 to 8 and just hope you catch like a, Rom
You just
and Ricky
don't get demolished early on.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like, what if you lose the first 5 matches? And
Right.
It's like happening. It's like,
All of a sudden
shit.
it's tied.
And then Sam Burns is like, thinks he's got a fucking cock that's 12 inches long. And it's like, come get some of this, John Rahm. So I think you go first. Just go out there and like take your chances like that. Our dudes are better than your dudes because that is 100% been the case. Like, this whole thing boils down to their dudes have been better than our dudes.
Yep.
Who are the U.S. like? I texted you. They have guys. Like, we don't have. Like, who's our like? Like Max Homa played good today, right? Like, he did some nice things, but like, is he like the U.S. guy? No.
It's supposed to be
Scotty Scheffler got his
Brooks.
ass kicked.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Scotty
Brooks got his
Scheffler,
ass
Brooks,
kicked.
Patrick
JT
Cantlay, and Xander
is
Schauffele.
The numbers would say it's then Cantlay, Schauffele, Morikawa, right?
I like Colin Morikawa. He's never going to be a dude in this.
No.
He's going to be a nice piece that you can kind of slot anywhere, I think. But, like, he's never going to be a dude. Patrick Cantlay may be a dude in this. I always wondered if it was just going to be, like, kind of like a him and Xander were, like, a little pair that you could run out and do. But, like, maybe Cantlay's a dude in this. But, like, I guess that's – I mean, it's like you said, it's supposed to be Brooks and Scotty and then, like, maybe Cantlay and Xander. But, like, they aren't dudes like John Rahm and Rory and Victor Hovland.
All right, so I got to get going. I got to go mow the lawn before I go play golf.
Do you want to
Slano, do you
want to talk about Seve before you go?
I'll let you guys get to Seve, but holy shit, I'm about done with it. Actually, I'm completely done with Seve, and I'm sure we'll have to hear it 3 or 4 times tomorrow. Slano, Wally and I texted earlier. Do you know how old Bob is?
Bob who?
McIntyre. How old do you think he is? This is my closing thought.
I think Bob McIntyre is 24.
Oh, he's 27. I thought he was like 45.
No, he just doesn't
I
like
thought he
salad.
was like 35.
He just doesn't like salad and light beer.
He is a Scot. All right. We'll talk to you guys hopefully bright and early tomorrow for a couple hours.
All right, T-Man. See you later, buddy.
Later.
Yeah, I got to go in on the Seve thing. I'm so fucking sick of it.
The floor is yours.
Like, can we stop? Like, I get it. He was a big deal. He was a big Ryder Cup player. He was a Ryder Cup captain. He was your heart and soul. He was a ferocious competitor. Can we stop? Like, they were unveiling fucking banners of him down the fucking thing. Like, he's not the all-time leading Ryder Cup's points getter. He was a one-time captain. Like, I'm listening to a book about the Ryder Cup history. Like, why aren't they getting behind like a guy like Tony Jacklin? Like, he was like a 5-time Ryder Cup captain that like flipped the script on how Europe did this. Like, I'm just so over Seve, and it's everything. Like, we're just playing for. We've got his fucking and Paul Lowry. Holy shit, I've had enough of Paul Lowry too. Like, I just can't.
Paul McGinley?
Paul McGinley, not Paul Lowry. Thank you. Yeah, Paul McGinley coming on like, oh, we've got this great game plan. And Seve, oh boy, what just happened?
I'm here.
Okay, good. I must have bumped on my. But yeah, I'm just so good on the Seve. Like, it's too much. Too much. I can't take it anymore. Like, we're dropping whole size banners down the crowd. Like, they've got a spot for him in the locker room. It's every 6 seconds. I mean, they have his last Ryder Cup shirt that he wore that they called his family for.
Yep.
Like, can we stop? Like, does this have to be every year? Like,
yep.
Rest in peace to the guy. Like, I don't mean to discredit like him or talk shit on his family, but like, he died fucking 12 years ago. Like, holy shit. Like, we did this for 1 year. Like, Arnold Palmer died right before the 2016 Ryder Cup. We did it one time. Like, we haven't just kept trotting out the memory of Arnold Palmer year after year after year. Like, holy shit. Like, I get it. It's enough. I'm done, I think.
Well, if you would like, I have an update on the Rory parking lot saga.
Yes, please do.
Which is simply just that Rory is continuing to be angry at Joe LaCava from the 18th green, where he asked Joe to move. And I guess what we did not see is that Joe did not move so that he could get ready for his putt. And instead he kept waving his hat in Rory's face.
Okay. Maybe he might have a little bit of a reason to be pissed there. That I'll backtrack a little bit on my statement. If he waited and then told him to move and he didn't, I get his point of view. I encourage everybody to go look at that video from him in the parking lot, though, because it's fucking awesome.
I also think if I'm Luke Donald, I just send Rory out first now.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yep. Just run with it. Let him be pissed. He plays good pissed.
But
maybe he doesn't, though. What if he's like too amped up and somebody just drum fucks him right off the gate?
That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. Do we have anything else? I feel like we covered a lot.
We covered a lot. This was good. This was good. I think there's a chance that our anger over some of these topics, this could be a pod that gets Ole Walls house to the next level. If we get if the right people hear us complain and we can get some track with this.
So to recap, if you don't like NBC, you can come and hear us bitch. You can come hear us bitch about the Euros. You can come hear us bitch about Zach Johnson. If any of those people are an issue to you, this is the spot for you because they all get skewered pretty good.
That's right. That's right.
Final prediction. Let's have fun. We'll do a final prediction for tomorrow. You go first.
We have better players. My prediction is that we will win singles tomorrow, but we will not win the Ryder Cup. I think it's too much uphill. I think that it would be really, really interesting if we had flipped like a point. Like if it was, all they've got to do is get a third of the points tomorrow, and a third of the points in matches that can tie is a lot of work for us to do. And I think we'll get more than 6 of the 12. I don't think that we will get all the way to the 9 that we need, or even the 8.5 that we need to push. But I could see us winning the session like 7.5 to 4.5. But a lot of that just being on the back end, right? Like I'm not telling anybody to put their money on it, but I'd bet on the U.S. to score more points tomorrow. And a lot of that due to the fact that those points at the end, once Europe does have enough to secure the win, don't really matter.
They get squirrely, yeah.
The same. And those
people start giving putts and
giving putts.
Like, in the spirit of sportsmanship, and especially now they got a little heated at the end of Saturday. Somebody's like, I just felt like we really needed some good good energy going. And
I also think that the U.S. has a couple guys who, whether they want to admit it or not, like there were more questions about the guys picked by the American side than there were by the Euro side. I think you've got guys like JT, guys like Jordan Spieth, even who hasn't had a good couple days and is hearing about it. Ricky Fowler's that have to prove that their selection was warranted. I mean, Keegan Bradley's sitting at home, and some other guys are sitting at home. Bryson, DJ, all those live guys, like there's people that aren't happy with how we're doing, and a couple of those guys get run through in singles tomorrow, and the narrative starts to change a little bit about some of their experience.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of tend to agree with you, kind of annoyingly, but I think there's like this glimmer of hope at some point, probably like, holy shit, like if we just flip this and flip that, like we're on the road, and then it falls apart and we end up winning like 6.5 or 7 points. So 6.5 on 5.5 is what? 12. So that'd be like 15, 12, 15.5, 11.5. Like at one point it'll look close, but it'll never really be as close as it looks.
I would second that. There's going to be a point tomorrow that after we have all woken up, somewhere in that like 8 to 8:30 time frame before that London football takes over at 9:30 or whatever time it is. There's going to be a time where we all go, here it is. And USA
And
has about
inevitably
60 minutes from there to keep it that way or it's gone.
And inevitably some fucking European will hole one out or fucking make like a 60-footer and the crowd will go ape shit and everybody else will.
I think there's a really good chance that happens for us. And then someone on Europe's side goes like 4 up. And it's like 4 up through 8. And all of a sudden you look at the board and like there's a lot of red on it, but there's like 1 or 2 blues that are not coming back.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and you're like, well, all these reds have to stay red. They can't flip to ties. And that's where we're doomed.
If you look back at like the big comebacks, so like we'll just take the American one, the 99 Ryder Cup at Brookline. So if you look at the Sunday singles, like in the way these guys won those matches, Tom Lehman won 3-2. These are I'm just reading them in order. Tom Lehman wins 3-2. Hal Sutton wins 4-2. Phil wins 5-3. Davis Love wins 6-5. Tiger wins 3-2. Davis Duval wins 5-4. Like they were crushing them. Like you were looking up at the board and being like, "Oh shit, there's 6 points on the board." It's not like there's 6 1-ups.
Correct.
Like can switch any second. It's like, "Oh fuck, the United States has 6 points." Like you need that. Like your guys got to get out early and they got to get up big.
Yep.
And it's got to be fast. Like you got to get multiple up through like 4 holes, and then you got to start tacking one on every couple holes after that.
Correct. Well, it was fun. Jeff. Thanks for having me.
It was a fun day. They made it they did almost what I wanted, like
just enough
to keep me invested. So, unless this thing gets really weird tomorrow, I'll probably do another one of these. So we'll see everybody then.
See you.